Shox is one of the most veteran players we still have playing CSGO at a tier 1 level. We're going to be breaking down how he holds towards the B site on Mirage and giving you guys some tips on how you can play this anchor B position a little bit differently and improving it for yourself. Now on this round, Shox is going to start off with an early grenade in deep apartments. However, this isn't actually the most common practice that Shox does, and the main reason that he does it this round is because it's the second round and FaZe could go for this fast B play with the SMGs they still have in play from the previous round. To throw this HE, Shox gets in the back left corner of car, aims against this line in apartments, and then run left click throw. Later on in the round, guys, we'll see Shox and Naf will set up this solid 2-man B hold, having Naf towards bench and Shox wedged in this little corner here watching towards apartments. This is a great setup you guys can try out for yourself if you don't have mid control as such and are wanting to play more around the bomb sites. In this round, we are going to see what Shox actually does about 80% of all the rounds towards this B site on Mirage. He will get into the corner of empty pillar, aim on the screen top just underneath this AC unit we can see here in this building, and left click throw. Even though Shox didn't do it here, you can actually also throw smokes, flashes, and HEs from this exact same position with the same lineup, so it's very versatile and a great thing to learn. When this execute actually starts to come in from the FaZe side, notice how Shox reacts. He remains very calm, not freaking out, doesn't force any duels he doesn't need to take. He just chills on site waiting for the fights to come to him. As an anchor, it is very important that you understand your job isn't to actually kill as many as the enemy team that you can. While that is good, obviously if you can multi-frag, that is a great thing to do, but your job is to essentially just stay alive as long as possible to allow for your team to rotate and support you. In this round, guys, we'll see Shox demonstrate that you can use the other pieces of utility from the same lineup we just learned. After this, he'll move back into the corner we saw earlier when he had the setup with Nafly, and the reason that Shox likes sitting in this position is because of the angles it works with. I'll just throw some flashes over towards B apartments just to prove my point here. As you can see, they don't actually reach the position that Shox is positioned at, meaning if an execute does come in, you will not get full flashed from here. Give this a little bit of a try for yourself, guys, to see if you like it, because you might not feel comfortable with the way you have to deal with the angles and hold apartments in certain ways. So if it isn't for you, it isn't for you, but at least give it a go. Going into this next round, guys, we will see the standard Molotov that we've just learned earlier on in this video before going towards truck to throw the HE we also learned in this video and then throwing a smoke on top of the Molotov. Notice how Shox makes sure he shift jumps across to apartments just to make sure that FaZe can actually hear his footsteps that he is towards porch. Because of this false information that FaZe has, they do try to push through the smoke, and Shox being in this position makes it very strong to hold against and execute just like this, as you simply cannot really be flashed off of this angle, but also you get the advantage of anyone also pushing through the smoke, giving you a huge advantage in winning the duels. As you guys can see here, Shox actually manages to pick up 2 kills here, playing close to his smoke that he just threw down before dropping back towards his teammate. Watch how cautious Shox is being while moving back towards car. He is just making sure to clear every single angle you can think of, and even the possibility that an enemy still could be inside one of the smokes. Right here, guys, Shox did actually use earlier on in the round the utility set we went over. However, I'll just skip over that because we've already done it earlier on in this video, and I want to more pay attention to just how he takes this free map control. He's been holding this for around 30 seconds at this point before finding out what the AWP is after Brokey takes out Naf towards mid. Because of this, Shox is able to slowly clear through B apartments to take this free area of the map and get in this very solid position ready for a potential B hit. It is very hard for an enemy to clear this position as he could be on either side right here, so if you find yourself sitting in B apartments and not getting any contact, try to make some map control out of it. This can really help your team out a lot and also allow for your team to rotate. Shox also uses this lineup in order to jump spot into deep apartments. This gives him a lot of information of anyone who may be just shifting through apartments, doing a contact play, or even going underpass. He does this by getting on this market car and jump up looking towards this wooden bench just to the left. And as you guys can see, he gets lots of information deep into B apartments without really the risk of getting caught off. You can do this crouched or standing up. However, I do recommend you doing it crouched as you have a lower risk of getting caught off if someone catches the timing on you. I'm just going to go in a game now and demonstrate some of the ways that you can play a little bit more like Shox on this B site on Mirage, and also ways that you can change it up to improve your gameplay. The main thing I want to cover in this position on empty pillar with throwing all these sorts of utility here, however mainly the Molotov. As you guys can see, it doesn't go that deep into apartments, meaning someone could actually just stand behind it like an AWP for example, trying to catch someone who is just jump spotting on car. This is why the grenade that also Shox through is very important combo, as you are giving them this space behind the Molotov intentionally in order to deal damage to them with the lineup that lands just behind it. Even though Shox doesn't actually throw this Molotov himself, I want to show it for you guys as I feel it is just very important to know if you are playing this B position on Mirage. If you get along this strip here, just at the corner, and look into apartments in the door frame and step throw, it will land much deeper than the other Molotov that Shox threw, and this will essentially just stop anyone from potentially peeking behind it. And also from this, you can just give yourself more of a chance to push through apartments more aggressive and just take more space. We also learnt that this lineup on car that you can use just to jump spot for deep apartments. Now this can be actually very useful because you aren't committing that much in this position, however also getting lots of information for it. Also keep in mind in the back of your head at all times here that you do have a possibility of being caught on a bit of an awkward timing and someone could actually sneak through and you not notice at all. You can also just drop a smoke at your feet here and use it as a potential one-way, or even drop it a little further back to cut off the T side if you were getting pushed. Shox also likes to use this little corner and door that we looked at earlier to hold apartments. He does this for quite a long period of time in each round. Now this angle can be a little bit hard to pick people off as they're coming out of apartments, so please just give it a try for a few times because there isn't exactly a right or wrong way to play this site. This video is made to give you pointers of things that you can do, not for you to copy exactly what Shox does on this site. And it is very important that in the entirety of CS, you have your own personal and unique way to play the game that will make you stand out and become above the rest. It's been Glaze, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.